And welcome to Hawkeye's House of Horrors. I am Hawkeye, and today I'm going to do the sequel and only sequel to the Secret of NIMH. That is the Secret of NIMH 2. Timmy to the rescue. And I have seen this twice. Both times within the last month or two. Um, and I gotta say right off the hop, this is a stinker. It's not a good sequel to the original, The Secret of NIMH, which was a serious cartoon, serious subject matter. Um, this one, yeah, I'm gonna go into reasons why I didn't like it. Not all is bad. There are a handful of things that are okay, but are good, but unfortunately, doesn't make it worth your time to see it. It was directed by Dick Sabast. He done a lot of stuff on the television. Um, for example, directing Batman the animated series, The Incredible Hulk, that show, and Land Before Time. So those TV shows he had directed. It was written by Sam Graham and Chris Hubble. Um, they worked on a lot of material together, it appears. Uh, a couple of films they did work on. They were both one of the writers for Oliver and Company, as well as The Little Mermaid, those particular movies. And Jim McGon, um, he had written the Goofy movie and wrote for shows like DuckTales and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So there's some good material there, some good shows we're looking at. And in the end, they weren't able to translate that into a good film. Right off the hop, I think a mistake they made. Not that I've read the book, but they did not base it on the second book in the series of The Secret of NIMH. That was entitled Rasco and the Rats of NIMH, written by Jane Leslie Connolly. As I said, I've never read the book, but boy, oh boy, it cannot be uh, any worse than what we're given here, in my opinion. Um, so this was a direct-to-video release, and that was on December the 22nd, 1998. The film's not the film is not very long. It's only runs 68 minutes, so not even an hour and 10 minutes. It's got a budget of 6 million for 68 minutes. In today's dollars, 2025, that would be a budget of $11.8 million. Now, I must say, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that seems like a very large budget for something you're going to release to VHS. Back in the day, it wasn't on any streaming services. They didn't exist back then. It's going to be on VHS, how it's released. So that seems like a big budget, in my opinion, for what they got out of this. Now, I have no idea what they did make on it, so that might be an indication to me. Maybe if I really dove down and really looked everywhere I could to find what they made on this, um, I don't know. It didn't concern me that much, to be honest, but it just gives me an indication they must have took a shower on this one, and didn't make anywhere near back the money they put into it. Now, as well, Don Bluth, who did the original The Secret of NIMH, has absolutely nothing to do with this. He didn't write it, or direct it, or animate it, or given any input onto the film. And in the end, I hope he didn't really end up watching this, or if he did, he just moved on with his life. Um, it's not like an absolute steaming pile of absolute garbage, but when you compare it to the original, oh boy, it really fails, in my opinion. Now, in this one, he's in the title, Timmy. He is the main character. In the first one, he was very important to the story. He was the sick mouse that his mother had to move because the farmer was going to be destroying their home. Um, but he is the main character in this one. And in the original, or in the beginning of the film, we have a recap of the original. Generally, I don't like when films do that, but it happens here. It doesn't last very long, so meh, whatever. We're gonna move on quickly through that. But Timmy must go to Thorn Valley, and really be trained as a hero. He was born to be a hero, like his father. Uh, he ends up being there for years, and I question how much he really learned while he's there, but anyways, he did learn confidence, perhaps. But I don't think he learned a whole lot in Thorn Valley. No, this isn't a Luke and Yoda training like we had in The Empire Strikes Back. No, nothing like that. So after he's fully after he's fully grown, that's the right word. He is voiced by the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio, which is kind of cool. Um, and when I look at the cast, it's actually a really good cast, a great cast. And maybe this is where some of the budget was funneled into, if you will. Some of these well-known actors in these voicing roles. Um, But we come to learn through Jenny, voiced by Hayden Walsh. And she did, and still is, I believe, to this day, voiced many, many things in cartoons and stuff like that. She's got a good voice for it, for sure. But we learned through her that the six mice we thought had died in the original, nah, they didn't. They survived. They ended up in the basement, I think, and are still alive, but they're trapped at NIMH. Therefore, we must go and save them. The remainder of the mice of Nim. So here we go. Timmy is the hero. Not really leading the way though, but he is the hero. You know what's going to happen. He's going to save the day and break these guys out. Oh, and by the way, I haven't mentioned him yet. Martin, you remember him? He was in the original. The older brother of Timmy. He's in this. Oh, Martin is also at Nim. Oh dear, we're gonna have to save him too. And then when we get there, a big head scratcher for me is Martin has been experimented on. But Martin, in the end, he turns the tables, okay, so that he can continue to experiment. Well, of course, that's exactly what he would do. Uh-huh. Oh, and by the way, he's also picked up an English accent. He is now voiced by Eric Idle. Idle does do a good job. He gets the humor, he gets the correct silliness he brings out in the character. Idle does do well um, in this role, which is really just a third act role for Eric. Um, oh, yeah, and he also wants to attack Thorn Valley. Oh, of course he does. In the end, Timmy saves the day. Martin is okay in the end. Of course, he is. And returning to his normal self. And oh dear, he lost his English accent along the way too. Um, dear. Now, one thing this film has going, not in a good way, is a different tone, completely different tone than the original film. Um, the original film had, that's right, zero songs. This one we have, at least off the top of my head, I can think of maybe perhaps five songs in it, and they're all either silly, forgettable, or depressing. Like the one that Macho and Walsh do a duet together. Very short, but also quite depressing. Um, the one good song is the one that Idol sings. It could be the final song. Idol gets the humor in the song, gets using the right tone in his voice. He does do a good job with that song. But you know. when you're saying 80% of your songs are just not good, that's not a good thing for the film. Now, the original absolutely was, in my opinion, aimed at perhaps older children. Um, it wasn't really a cartoon or a film for like a 5-year-old. Not saying none saw it, none enjoyed it, but when I was 5, I'm not sure I really would have enjoyed it as much as I would have perhaps when I was 10. I would say that. But this one is definitely for undemanding 5-year-olds, and maybe for kids who had never seen the original and really don't care and really don't want to. Um, they just want to watch a cartoon. Maybe that's what this is for, those type of kids. But for fans of the original film, um, there's no way this one is for you, which is sad because they did make a sequel and it's just doesn't meet the expectations that you would have for this story. Now, returning from the original film or actors, we have Dom DeLuise. He's back as Jeremy the Crow. Of course, he does a really good job in it. You can tell DeLuise is still having fun playing Jeremy. Um, he does add to the film, but Jeremy does really come in and out of the story. And beyond taking Timmy to Thorn Valley and saving um, Timmy and Martin at the end, as because he can fly. They they're escaping the NIMH, which has blown up, and they're flying through the air. And Jeremy comes in, coasts in on his wings and saves them. Beyond that, I don't really know what Jeremy's there for. But but then also as well, we got Arthur Mallet back as Mr. Ages. And he certainly adds to the film too because he's a returning character. Now, other names involved in the cast, we have Peter McNichol. He is the narrator, which I think is just at the very beginning of the film. We have Doris Roberts as Auntie Shrew, William H. Macy as Justin, and Majak Taylor as Cecil. He's a bug. He's okay. Um, he's definitely one of the better um, characters or portrayals in the film is by Taylor. But I'm gonna say my two favorite characters. I'd say it's a stinker, but I really like these characters because of how they're portrayed, or uh, the people doing the voices are funny people, and they got the humor in it. And they are Floyd, voiced by Harvey Korman, and Muriel, voiced by Andrea Martin. And they're cats that are chasing the mice down. I like these characters. They were new, not in the original, but boy, did it ever ask or have me wanting more from them. The film only runs 68 minutes. We got lots of room here to add backstory to some characters, perhaps some more meat in the story or meet in some of these characters. And I would really have loved a backstory about these two characters, and we're given pretty much none. So you're introduced to them, and then they're uh, fooled into coming into NIMH. Even though they can already talk and do all the things that the mice can. I don't know if they can read, but yeah, I don't know. I was definitely wanting more in seeing these characters, unfortunately. Now, this is definitely not animated in the same way that the original was done. This one is now using what's known as digital ink, where the original was all hand drawn. Um, so the look of this film is very meh, uh, much to be desired. Just kind of gives it a this is quick, fast, let's try and cash in on it being a sequel to a pretty good cartoon from the early 80s. Um problem is this is 16 years later, so Uh, it's a long time ago, and yes, it's a continuation of that story, but as I said, it really fails um, in bringing that story home for me, or this film home. Now, they were going to make this into a trilogy. They were going to make a third film, but after the reception, which I think was generally panned by critics, they redecided on that and decided not to. So that's it. That's The Secret of NIMH 2, Timmy to the Rescue. It even sounds like a title for a 5-year-old, which is fine, but this is The Secret of NIMH. It's not supposed to be. Um, so that's it. And hopefully, I won't be off here too long and bring you some more reviews in the future. But definitely with this one, I would say stick to the original and just watch it again. Just keep watching it. Until next time, Hawkeye out.